Greetings, everyone. Tim Anderson here, aka Renfail, and welcome to the latest episode of Monday Musings, where I talk about life in general for Chris and I, what we're up to, shows, books, series, travel plans, and a little bit of Weave and Void stuff as well. And this is a horrible shirt I'm looking at for the screen because the edges are bleeding, but I don't care. That's how I roll. So welcome. This is episode something close to 50, I feel like. I'm pre-recording this as usual on December 5th, but this is airing on December 6th. It's currently 11:30 a.m. when I'm recording this. It'll be coming out tomorrow morning. Let's talk a little bit about the past week, what we've been got going on. Book-wise, I started reading the second book in the Thrawn trilogy finally a couple days ago. Went through the first 6 chapters. Dark Force Rising or Dark Forces Rising. Um, Timothy Zahn is such a fun writer to read. It's so fast paced. So I'm really enjoying that. I'm hoping to get that done maybe by the end of this week. We'll see if I have a review up at the end of this week or not. I am also going to do. I haven't done it yet. I'm going to do some reviews on the last 2 episodes of Wheel of Time, so episode 4 and episode 5. The first review I did was when they dropped the first 3 episodes. I just banged out a video on those, um, and I haven't done any since because I just kind of forgot in the rush of Everquest 2, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So I will be doing a video on episode 4 and then another video on episode 5. Both of those will be out sometime this week. So we've been watching that weekly. Neither Chris or I like weekly episodes. We really like it when they drop them all at once and you can binge watch. And a lot of times for a lot of shows, we will just wait until it's completely done and then go watch all the episodes in like a weekend, 2, 3 days, spread them out. It's really hard in the day and age we live in to avoid spoilers if you have any sort of social media presence. I don't care if it's Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, you name it. If you're on a social media platform, then things are going to be spoiled for you for these episodic shows that are big hits. Like Game of Thrones, it was impossible to avoid spoilers. Impossible. You just had to stay off social media. And for people like us who work on social media, that's not an option. So you have to watch these shows on a weekly basis if you don't want things spoiled for yourself, or you just accept the fact that it's going to be spoiled. Um, so yeah, Wheel of Time, as much as we don't like the weekly format, we are watching it in a weekly format uh, because that's how it's being produced. As a result, I forgot to do episode 4. We just watched episode 5 this last week. Man, I feel like this show it's getting better as it goes along, but that also just might be me um, getting accustomed to it and just gradually coming to grips with all the changes that they make. Because again, and as I said in the first overview video that I did, I'm not a book purist. However, there are still things that kind of jerk me out of the show a little bit when I see it happening because I'm like, that didn't happen like that in the book, or why aren't they explaining that in greater detail? Why did they skip over that? When is this going to make sense? That kind of stuff. Um, yeah, I need to wait to talk about that in the reviews of the episodes because there's some stuff that I feel they did really well, even though I didn't agree with. There was something that they did in the first episode that paid off in episode 5, and I was like, okay, now I get why they did it, and it makes total sense why they did it this way. Um, and now I understand the arc that they've done. I approve of that for a television setting. Um, but anyway, good show. Even though I hate the weekly episode of format, we caught up on that. They dropped the final season on Netflix of Lost in Space, which if you have not watched the modern incarnation of Lost in Space, it's only 2 seasons previous, so this is the third season. They are relatively short. I want to say 10-ish episodes per season. Um, it's a family-friendly show, but it's definitely more adult-oriented. It's family. It's like PG-13. Um, so good. So good. I initially wanted to watch it because I'm totally gonna blank on his name now. The guy who plays the dad in the show. played Captain Flint in Black Sails, and Black Sails is hands down one of Chris and I's favorite period shows that we've ever seen. It's so good. We've watched it twice all the way through. We would gladly do it a third time. I have a feeling that might be a show that I might actually go out and buy one day, like a collector's edition on Blu-ray or whatever, and just own it because I would hate to lose access to that over the years. Black Sails, so good. Anyway, the actor who plays Captain Flint is the dad, and so I immediately followed him over because of fandom. Plus, it's Lost in Space. I like science fiction, and it's funny enough. I actually really enjoyed. There was a movie they did in the mid '90s or early aughts. I don't really remember when it dropped, but it had Jared Harris in it, one of his first major roles. And now, I mean, Jared Harris has become like a household name over the years. Like roles in Chernobyl and more recently in Foundation. Richard Harris's son. He's a great actor. Um, I really like him. Anyway, it was one of his first roles, but William Hurt played the dad. Um, Joey from Friends played one of the sidekicks. I just remember that being a very kind of polished, like everybody was really pretty, a very spectacular, special effects ridden, laden, I should say, special effects laden feature, the Lost in Space feature, and I remember enjoying it. I remember having watched it several times and always kind of enjoying it. So I've always, even though I didn't grow up with the original Lost in Space, I'm familiar with its place in science fiction history. And so I was gonna watch the Netflix show regardless, but it didn't hurt that there was an actor in it that I really happen to enjoy, and that show has been very well done. And this third season, we started watching it the other day. We watched a couple episodes. I think. Hey Chris, was that yesterday? Yeah. So that was yesterday, and today we're gonna watch some more episodes. So that's a fun show to get caught up on if you're not already watching it on Netflix. I still, believe it or not, have not watched the last 6 episodes of Arcane, despite the fact that I raved about how amazing that show was on the first 3 episodes. So I'm going to watch those this week. And also, they dropped the second half about a week or so ago, the second half of and I'm going to say this, I'm going to use the title, Masters of the Universe. It's not He-Man. It is Masters of the Universe. They dropped the second half of the Kevin Smith produced Masters of the Universe series, which I am going to be watching, if not this week, then next week, because I loved the first half. I know some people who are fanatical He-Man fans were very disappointed because He-Man didn't have that big of a role in the first half. But again, the show is not named He-Man. The show is called Masters, plural, of the Universe, meaning all of the characters who make up that arc. And from what I understand of this second half, it's got Skeletor and He-Man working together for this greater evil that they're facing. So it'll be interesting to see. Like I said, I really liked the first part. I'm really looking forward to seeing how the second part played out. So that's my agenda for the week coming up in terms of personal stuff. We're watching Lost in Space. We've got, I got to watch those shows, Arcane and um, Masters of the Universe on Netflix. Also, we of course have we have the 6th episode of Wheel of Time coming up, and this is where I'll say this again briefly before I move on to other topics. Having only knowing that there's only 8 episodes in the first season of Wheel of Time, I'm very torn because they haven't gotten very far in the first 5 episodes, and yeah, they're technically kind of like in book 2 territory, but they've rushed us forward at such a fast pace that it's kind of like, really, like, I would love to hear Chris's thoughts after she finishes the whole season 1 because she has never read the book. So I would love to hear her thoughts on what she thinks about everything. Does she think she got enough information? Was it too fast paced for her? All that kind of stuff. I'd love to hear those thoughts from a complete newbie to the show and to the series as a whole, because it feels just way fast paced. Because they've only got 3 more episodes in the first season, and I know where they need to end up with the end of season 1, which is going to be the revelation of who is the Dragon Reborn. And of course, those of us who have read the books, we know who the Dragon Reborn is. But they haven't announced that. I mean, we haven't even seen that individual do anything with their powers yet. So it's got to come. It's got to be the end of the first season. If it's not the end of the first season, I'm gonna be like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, you're completely, you know, changing the spirit of what this is. So we'll see where they go with that. Um, Game wise, it has been a consummation of EverQuest 2 and EverQuest 1 since Thanksgiving. Things have really picked up and kind of kicked off. The EverQuest 2 guild has grown very rapidly. I feel it's somewhat slowed down over the last week, um, but I know some of that is just because um, Nathan's been a little under the weather recently, so he hasn't really produced any new videos this week. And every time he does a video, we get tons of new people. We get a trickle of people from my stuff because my channel is much smaller, but um, it's grown pretty good. I think we're around 60 members now in the EQ2 guild, and I fully anticipate that only about half of those people will stick with it past Christmas. But we've already got plans to move on and do the mythical content in the Rise of Kunark expansion starting in January. The cool thing about the way the game is now is you can very much do that content on a casual basis. We did this for those of you who joined when we had the Saga Lucimi gaming community. My brother, myself, and a handful of other people. We did the mythical content back in like I want to say 2017ish. Took us about 3 months. We ended up having 12 to 15 people by the end of it. So we started off with like 30 and then had about half that by the time we got done. And we ended up finishing it off with mercenaries. And it was totally doable. We were playing 2 nights a week, sometimes three, a couple hours each session. Raids are progressive and persistent, so the raid zones save your progress. So it's very easy to go in a couple times a week and clear out the raid zones. Um, and we're going to do that again for story purposes because a lot of people have never seen that expansion, and it's all about just slaughtering dragons and dealing with dragons who think they're better than everybody else. It's just a lot of fun from a storyline perspective, and at the end of it, you get really cool mythical weapons. Um, Beyond that, if people are still playing, I'd love to see us go to Velius after that because I've never seen Velius in EverQuest 2, but that's too far ahead. I can't think that far ahead because you don't know how many people are going to stick it out because most people these days bounce around games. I do it as well. And the reality is, I typically jump between EverQuest 1, EverQuest 2, Lord of the Rings Online, Star Wars: The Old Republic. Like, I'm currently playing Star Wars: The Old Republic with my brother on Mondays and Wednesday nights, which, by the way, we haven't streamed all of our sessions. Um, we did stream this last Wednesday night because his two real life friends from grade school have joined us. Um, and we've been doing flashpoints on Wednesday nights for the past 3 or 4 weeks now. And they're so fun. It's a lot of fun. I had to respec my agent from DPS to heals so that I have the heals for the group. But it's been a blast going through flashpoints now because those are a lot of fun and the storylines are really good. So we're looking forward to continuing to that. Monday nights, my brother and I usually just play by ourselves. We didn't play last week because he had day job stuff that kept him out until about 8 o'clock at night. He was just wiped when he got home, but we should be playing again Monday night. We are streaming, like I said, most of those sessions get streamed here on YouTube, but not all of them do. Let's move into. I already covered what I'm reading for the week. I'm going to try to finish the Thrawn trilogy through December. That's my goal for December reading. I feel like it's possible. My day job has I get an actual vacation this year, which I talked about in a couple episodes back. I think I have not had a vacation since Chris and I got married. For our honeymoon, we took like a week off, but I've not had an actual vacation since then. I've had work vacations, workations where we go somewhere, but we're on contract or doing something for the time we're there. But I haven't had a vacation since 2013, so it's been 8 years, something like that. Um, and I'm off from the 23rd to the 3rd, and I'm gonna fully enjoy that time. I don't know what I'm doing yet. We originally thought we might try to go somewhere, but because we didn't know that we were gonna go somewhere until Chris got back from her trip to the family, and she was like, "We should do something for the holidays." And then when I started looking at hotels, it was like it's impossible to book something, 6 weeks out from Christmas. There's nothing available, and everything that is available is. And I mentioned this during last week's episode. it's it goes from being 400 to $500 for a 4 night stay to like $1,500 or more, and it's like you know, I'm not spending that kind of money. I'm not gonna go spend $2,000 to go stay somewhere for 4 nights. Not when it would normally only cost $400 for the same place. Yeah, not gonna happen. So I think what I'm going to do for the holidays, I'm not entirely sure, but Chris and I have already said that we're definitely going to go out and eat. We're going to go eat out at restaurants. We've got a handful of really nice restaurants in Mexico City that we've wanted to try and we just avoided because of COVID, but we're both double vaccinated. We just got our flu shots this past Tuesday, so we're as protected as we possibly can be. And so I think for the Christmas season, we're going to go out and enjoy some fine dining here in Mexico City and probably produce some content around that for Marginal Boundaries. We'll see. And I plan on, depending on how I feel, um, I might try to work on that science fiction novel that I was working on at the beginning of the year. I might see if I can get some work done on that over the holidays. But I'm not going to do any day job work, and I will possibly take a break from Weave in the Void stuff. We need to strategize with my brother and see if we can pre-produce some stuff and then pre-program it to go out. But I don't think we need to be publishing anything on, over the Christmas holiday because no one's really going to be around from that Thursday, the 23rd, until probably, the 27th or 28th. That whole weekend, everybody's going to be busy with family. So there's really no reason to do a lot of updates. We might do a Merry Christmas post here or there. But we'll see. Um, I'm definitely not going to be writing, FYI, for people who are watching for Weave Void. I'm not going to be writing chapters 11 and 12 for December. And the reason is because Chris is still getting caught up on artwork. And I've sidetracked her a little bit, which is why she hasn't finished the artwork for chapter 8 yet. And I'll talk about why she got sidetracked in a second. Um, so because of that, I want her to have the month to get caught up on artwork, and then I'll just plan on going into the new year with part 2 of the Weave in the Void book, which is where we introduce the new characters. They are definitely going to be characters, but I haven't decided quite on that dynamic. So I've got more time to do some brainstorming and stuff. And those of you who are subscribers over at the Patreon page, I will be adjusting the outline accordingly once I've got those plans in place, and I will have a post up about that. So stay tuned for that. So Chris got sidetracked because she agreed to do EverQuest 2 with me. And it was definitely a request. It wasn't like she was like, "Oh, I want to play." It was definitely me going, "Hey, this guild is really taking off," um, which goes to show what an amazing person she is. It was like the guild is really taking off. The YouTube videos are doing really well. The EverQuest 1 and EverQuest 2 videos were doing really well. We've had some people ask if you had thought about playing. What do you think about it? And she said, yeah, I'll give it a shot. And then it never happened. Like a week and a half went by and it never happened. And she finally played this past Saturday, and she actually had a bit of fun. And after we got done, she was like, I would definitely like to do that on Saturday mornings. If we're doing like an hour and a half on a weekend, I've got time for that. And it was fun. And again, she hasn't really ever played MMORPGs before, other than some previous time in World of Warcraft Classic, which I've mentioned. When I think she played 8 or 9, maybe 10 sessions with me over the course of like 3 months. Very much like on a Sunday, I've got nothing else to do. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, I can do an hour and a half and play some World of Warcraft. So having it was like riding a bike, so to speak. The controls kind of came back to her after about an hour of playing. She was pretty good. Um, the mini map still is that's going to be a work in progress, but yeah, and I'm not overloading her. We're not doing mercenaries. It's just I took her to the Isle of Refuge, or the Isle of Hope as they call it now, and we're very much just taking our time. I'm not trying to overload. Like, I didn't even have her go through their tutorial. I did my own tutorial for her and was like, that this is this, this is this, this is this. Here's how you can follow me. Here's how you can move around on your own. Here's how you can do a target by yourself. You can target through me. And she was like, "Well, doesn't it hurt you if I'm targeting you? Are my attacks not damaging you?" And I'm like, "Nope. This game, you can use your attacks or your heals or whatever. It's all good." So she had fun. So and that video, I just put a video out on Sunday morning actually. Um, about her first, or I did a shortened version because we played for about an hour and a half, and I cut it down to like a 55-minute video for YouTube. I don't know if we'll ever stream, at least for the first couple of weeks. I don't think she'll be comfortable playing enough for us to stream those sessions, but we'll probably migrate to streaming those sessions by the time we get to January. So on Saturdays and Sunday mornings, we'll probably stream our sessions together because I would like to do an ongoing series of, newbie adventures in EverQuest 2 with Chris and have that pursued because she graciously agreed to do that for my personal YouTube channel here. So I'm going to take advantage of that and exploit my wife for my YouTube channel, but in a good way. It's not like she's running around and doing OnlyFans of bikinis. Although if she wanted to, she could. But this is just simple EverQuest fun. Um, Project Ram and stuff. Holidays coming up. I keep saying Project Ram and it's weaving the void now. As you've been following along. Oh, I know what else is going on. My brother just texted me today. Tomorrow, today being Sunday, so the Monday that this airs, they are shipping the miniatures, the maps, well, a map, the miniatures, a map, which will go up. So right now I've got this as a screener, as green screen behind me. That'll be changed to an actual cloth map that's going to hang behind me moving forward. And once that arrives, we'll be doing that, and then we're going to start getting miniatures set up to be painted, and we're going to be starting to live stream those sessions in January. And those hand painted miniatures will be going up on the Etsy store. We're also going to have world map stuff up on the Etsy store. And what else? We're going to be live streaming. Well, definitely live streamed on Twitch, and then we'll do clips for TikTok. I just live streamed an incarnate map making session this past Thursday. I'll do another one this week sometime. My objective is that once a week I will stream on Twitch a map making session in incarnate. I might do twice a week, but more than likely once is enough because if we're doing Wednesday night stand ups and then I do incarnate stream, and then if we do a tabletop stream, miniature painting stream on top of the D&D stream on Sunday nights. Then we've got 4 streams a week on the Weave and the Void channel. I think that's plenty. I don't think we need more than 4 a week at the moment. If and when Chris decides that she's comfortable enough streaming her art streams, we might have her stream some artwork on uh, Twitch as well. But that remains to be seen. She's not quite ready to do that yet, she told me. So we're going to wait. What else we got? I feel like that kind of might be it for this week. Um, just double checking in my brain. I don't have anything written down for this episode. So yeah, that's pretty much it. For those of you who are new here, I would like to say thanks so much for following along. I love the support everybody's been giving the EverQuest 1 and EverQuest 2 videos. It's been extremely helpful. It's definitely been motivating me to want to create more of that type of content because now that I know I have sort of, because before I always knew people enjoy the Lord of the Rings Online videos, and so I'm happy to do those, and I like that game. So those have always been easy for me to do. The rest of the stuff is just bouncing around doing stuff that I want to do, and occasionally one of those videos does very well. But I've never been worried about the growth of this channel because it's my personal vlog space and it's not how I make my money. Um, but not gonna lie, it would be nice to get to 1,000 followers and get monetized and have that be, the next objective because the algorithm does start promoting your content more once it gets monetized. Um, but knowing now that my idea for doing EverQuest 1 and EverQuest 2 videos is something that people are actually enjoying a lot, it's motivation for me to go do more of it, and it's easier for me to go do it now because I know that there's a built-in audience that wants to consume that, and I may end up doing some Vanguard streams or Vanguard films, no, Vanguard videos at some point. Um, I may dive into the emulator just to get footage and do some background videos on Vanguard and talk about it in the scope of the EverQuest 1 and EverQuest 2 conversation. I, I don't I don't think I will do any Pantheon videos at any point in the near future, and there's a reason for that because there are enough people out there like what is it, Bogram, or I think it's Bogram TV or something like that, Nathan Napalm, Pantheon Plus. There are plenty of content creators who are already creating Pantheon content, and I'm not in the same boat as those folks are. I am looking forward to the game, um, but I'm not salivating over it. Like I'm not waiting on it. It's on my horizon, and if it ever gets finished, then I will be happy to jump in and play it and have fun in it. But I'm not pre-ordered. I never will pre-order. Um, I'm just looking at it as a potential future project that if it ever comes to the light of day, and I think it has a good chance of doing so. I don't necessarily have huge doubts, but like any other crowd-funded project, I have a healthy amount of skepticism. I'm the same way, and I did back this game, Star Citizen. I like what they do. I've played the alpha a few times. It's a fun game, and I have skepticism about that overall project. But if it ever comes out, I will be happy to play it. Um, I'm not in it for a lot. I picked up a pre-order pack on Kickstarter back in the day for like $40, so I don't feel like I've really lost out on anything. Um, $40 is kind of I can afford to take $40 and throw something away. Speaking of which, I wonder if I should do. I may do a video at some point. My brother and I have started to dabble in cryptocurrency and traditional stock, like day trading and stuff. Not big amounts, very small amounts. Um, as we educate ourselves on things. And we were doing very well until the Omicron, um, when Omicron went worldwide like a week ago, everything has crashed. And that's a very interesting anecdote for the world market and the risks you take if you're going to be in investments. And that's the one thing about investments is that you have to be comfortable. The smart way to do investments is it has to be money that you can afford to throw away. And if you lose it, you kind of look at it as it was a meal out. You know what I mean? Like a meal out in the grand scope of things, spending $50, say, on a nice steak dinner somewhere, um, that's not something that is, it's not an investment. It's not something that's going to increase in value. It is sort of an empty spend. It was throwing money away because you could have spent $50 at the grocery store and gotten enough food for five, six, 10 meals for $50. But instead, you went out to a restaurant and you had that one meal, which doesn't really have any value beyond that initial consumption and enjoyment. So if you can treat your investments that way, it won't matter that much, or you won't feel it as much when you see a dip like this, because it is just a dip. It will come back. But what's interesting is we were very much, we had started at the beginning of November, and I know on my Robinhood investments, I was up about 30% across the board on all the things that I had done, and on my crypto, we had seen a uh, between 20 and 30% kind of rise in there. About the same on Robinhood. Both places I was seeing between a 20 and 30% uptick on all the things that I had put money on. And then the then Omicron, and I think I'm down like 15 to 20% on everything. So I'm just kind of like, I wonder if I should buy. Now would be a good time to buy because when it comes back, you'll make more money. But I may end up doing some videos on that at some point. Who knows? I'm dabbling right now. I'm not going to talk about what I've bought or what crypto I'm into or anything like that. It's just we're educating ourselves and playing around with some things, and it's interesting and it's fun. So I'm close to 30 minutes in. I think I'm going to wrap this up here, everybody. Thanks again for the follows if you're new here. If you haven't already done so, go ahead and give this channel a follow, subscribe, hit that bell icon to get updates for future content, and join the Discord. Links are down below if you want to hang out with us there. Don't forget also to check out all the links for the Weave in the Void. We're going to be live streaming Sunday nights, our D&D sessions, 9 p.m. Central. And we look forward to seeing everybody there, as well as in the Discord, and of course here in whatever video comes out next for everybody. Stay safe, stay healthy, and see you next time.